the notion of singular subject and plural subject becomes very, very important as the grammatical knowledge progresses. Increasingly important. So, one of the first steps is to learn the contradictory and the contrary premises. Now let's look at the contradictory. What the contradictory premise means is that if I say birds are pretty, then, and that's meant to be true or false, then we know what the predicate is, we know what the subject is. Put the birds. We know the subject, we know the predicate. So if I am asserting the predicate of the subject and it's true or false, asserting means that I'm saying what is, then we should have we should be able to assert also of the same subject and the same predicate. We should be able to assert what is not. And since the one being is and the one being what is not, one or the other must be true, given the same predicate and the same subject in the same senses of the term. So for the birds being a singular subject, it's very simple that we say, for the contradictory, the birds are not pretty. Pretty is the predicate, the birds is the subject. This is a set of contradictory premises. One of those must be true, provided the predicate is the same in the same meaning, having the same meaning in the same sense of the term, and that the birds has the same meaning in the same sense of the term. Then one of these must be true and one of them must be false. So if you know which one is true, then you know also which one you know also which one is false. That works with singular subjects. With plural subjects, it starts to get just a little bit more complicated, but it's not anything near impossible. Let's move to the contrary, which is not as important as the contradictory, with the singular subject, and see what the contrary means is that if we have a predicate and we take the contrary form of the predicate, if it happens to have a contrary, which many predicates do, the contrary means that pretty, for example, the contrary is ugly, and large is small, the contrary is small. Those are contrary terms. Warm and cold, or hot and cold, are contrary terms. Tall and short. So if we say the birds are pretty, now for the contrary premise, I say the birds, I don't know if that's on the screen, the birds are ugly. This is the contrary premise, because the predicate happens to have a contrary, and we form the premise in the contrary with the singular subject. This is the premise. This is the contradictory. These are contradictory of each other. These are contraries, and they're contrary to each other. Okay. Now, in the case of the plural subjects, it's a bit more complicated. So we'll do that next.